All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another HF Viking baseball live stream. I'm Dylan Barnes. I'm going to be calling this game and all games throughout this season, home and away. So if you want to watch any of these HF Viking games, you can just tune in right here to our YouTube channel. But today, they're going to be playing the Shepard Astros. The Astros are 2-0. The Vikings are 5-1. On the mound for the Vikings is the left-hander Brian Brooks. He's getting his second start of the year. He went 3.1 innings and earned the win over Oswego East. Struck out 5 and only allowed 3 hits. Around him in the infield is Nico Bilgi, the senior third baseman, Rob Tate, the shortstop, Corey Malling, the second baseman, and Demir Heidelberg at first base. Behind them in the grass is left fielder Isaiah White, right fielder Josh Moore, and the return of center fielder number 1 Head. The number 1 player in the state is making his HF Viking baseball appearance. He had been sidelined due to injury the first 6 games of the year, but he's back and he's ready to go. So we're going to get this game underway in just a few quick seconds, and hopefully it's going to be another Vikings win. One last lineup correction. That is not Josh Moore in right field. Josh Moore is the DH. That is Jason Ballard in right field. He had been playing center field in Dylan Head's absence. He just shifted over to right field.
Second baseman number 3, Josh Case.
Leading things off for the Astros is going to be their second baseman, Josh Case. Astros have only played 2 games on the year, but they've won both of them. Case is hitting .500 through those 2 games. Brooks starts him with a fastball, just a bit low. So this game is going to start with a ball to Josh Case. The 0-1 is fouled back. The 1-0 was fouled back, making it 1-1. Brooks opts for working from the stretch with no runners on, as opposed to working from the windup. So then once runners do get on, he doesn't have to change how he pitches, as Case pops the 1-1 foul. So that's going to have Brooks ahead in the count 1-2. Brooks has that slow looping curveball that he uses very frequently in 2-strike counts when he's ahead, such as this one. So let's see if he busts that out right here. Wouldn't be surprised if it does. And there it is, as that one was high. Didn't get the break downwards that he wanted it to, but that evens a count at 2-2. Brooks comes set, the pitch. Fastball, jammed Case. Malling going out, Ballard coming in. Ballard calls off Malling, and he's going to make the play. A little bloop out into right field gets Josh Case to fly out to Jason Ballard.
Right fielder number 14, Ethan Byrne.
Ethan Byrne now for the Astros. Byrne has the only Astros home run of the year, as he watches strike 1. Working from ahead in the count as opposed to behind in the count has been big this year for all Vikings pitchers, not just Brian Brooks, as Byrne fouls that one down the right field line. Brooks once again ahead in the count 0-2. Now would be another good time for that slow looping curveball. Would not be shocked if he busted it out right here. The pitch. There it is, and it's grounded right back to Brooks. Return to sender, and Brian Brooks gobbles it right back up, flips it over to Demir Heidelberg for out number 2. A one-hop rocket right to Brian Brooks' glove retires Ethan Byrne.
First baseman number 6, Paul Cladis.
Paul Cladis standing in for the Astros, trying to prevent a 1-2-3 first inning. Cladis is batting .500 through the Astros' first 2 games. That slow looping curveball outside for ball 1. The 1-0 from Brooks. Swing and a miss from Cladis. That evens the count at 1-1 on the first baseman, Paul Cladis. Just barely outside, says a home plate umpire. 2-1. Brooks, for the first time since the very first pitch of the game, behind the count. As he's grounded towards the third baseman, Bilgi. Bilgi coming in on it, and he can't come up with it. Just barely nicked off the end of Nico Bilgi's glove. So that's going to go E5 in the books. And Paul Cladis reaches on an error by Nico Bilgi.
Catcher number 20, Brandon Casca.
Brandon Keska trying to get on base for the Astros, extend this inning, get a 2-out rally going for the Astros. Swings and hits one into center field. Head racing over, is going to let it fall in front of him, slides down due to that wet grass. Hopefully he's okay. Seems to be okay, just muddy pants. But a 2-out single for Brandon Keska has the Astros threatening to score as they've got runners on first and second and 2 outs.
Pitcher number 1, Owen McGovern.
The starting pitcher for the Astros is now standing up in to hit against the Viking starting pitcher, Owen McGovern. It will be his first appearance on the mound, but first he has to bat. Batting .333 on the year. He leads the Astros in RBIs, so he can bring Cladis in from second base. As he watches ball 1 upstairs. Brooks comes set. The 1-0 pitch to McGovern. In the dirt. Ball 2. Brooks just needs to find the zone once, and then it appears that he can fire it in there 2 more times for a strikeout, or even just a weak ball in play. The 2-0 pitch to McGovern. In there for strike 1. Hopefully that's a good indicator of what's to come. Brooks is primarily a 2-pitch pitcher with that rainbow-esque curveball and his fastball. There's the fastball as it's upstairs, bringing the count to 3-1. Owen McGovern trying to load the bases here in this Astros top of the first inning. Brooks comes set. The 3-1 pitch. Fastball in there for strike 2. So that's going to bring the count to a full 3-2. 2 outs. So the runner should be moving with the pitch. Going to give them a little bit of a head start. Camped under, it should be an easy play, and yes, it is. Brooks gets out of a little jam there for the Astros, but at the end of the top of the first inning, it's the Astros 0 and the Vikings coming to bat. Leading off this bottom of the first inning for the Vikings, it's going to be the center fielder, Dylan Head. So for the first time this season, Head will bat for the Vikings. Head is the #1 player in Illinois and the 6th ranked player nationally. It's going to be a big boost to this Vikings lineup to get him back as he grounds the first pitch towards Case, the second baseman, and he is going to be out at first base. Head using that speed to almost beat that out as he was hustling out of the box, but his first pitch that he sees in his senior season is going to be a ground out to the second baseman, Josh Case.
Shortstop, #2, Robert Tate.
Standing in for the Vikings is their 2-hole hitter, Rob Tate. Tate has batted second in every single game so far as he takes ball 1 outside. Tate went 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs in a win over, who did they play yesterday? I'm blanking on the name of who they played. Sorry, folks. Kankakee, thank you, came to me. But yeah, he went 1 for 2 with 2 RBIs over a win against Kankakee as he takes ball 2 upstairs. Tate is leading this Vikings team in hits with 10. So 10 hits through 6 games. Has a hit streak going. So he sends one right back up the middle, and the hit streak will continue for Rob Tate. So Rob Tate extending that hitting streak to 7 games as he sends a fastball right back up the middle. And Jason Ballard's going to bat with a runner on first.
Right fielder, #5, Jason Ballard.
Ballard went 1 for 2 with a run scored on Monday against Kankakee. Grounds one towards the shortstop, Ortega. Ortega is going to come up with it, and Ballard is going to beat the throw. The speed from Jason Ballard nets him an infield single for the Vikings. So back-to-back ground ball singles have the Vikings threatening to score in this bottom of the first inning.
Catcher, #10, Preston Lund.
Preston Lund was 2 for 4 against the Kankakee K's yesterday. He doubled and drove in 2 as he takes ball 1 downstairs. Lund is batting .400 on the year with 2 doubles and a home run. Both of those are tied for the team lead as he takes strike 1. Perhaps waiting to see if starting pitcher Owen McGovern could get one over. But the count is even now at 1-1. He takes strike 2 on a breaking ball. Rob Tate appeared to get a jump on McGovern, perhaps timing him up, seeing if he could steal third. Ballard almost followed him. He didn't see that Tate had put the brakes on. But the 1-2 pitch to Lund is upstairs, ball 2. Lund shaking his head no. He knew it. Count is even now 2-2. Lund chases a curveball in the dirt for strike 3. So the second out of the Vikings inning sends the second baseman Corey Mulling to the dish with 2 runners on and 2 out.
Second baseman, #9, Corey Mulling.
Corey Mulling went 2 for 3 with 2 doubles against Kankakee, and Rob Tate's going to go to third, and he is going to be tagged out. So Rob Tate tried to get a head start on Owen McGovern's delivery, and he is picked off trying to steal third. So the Vikings do not score, and at the end of the first inning, it's the Astros 0 and the Vikings 0.
Leader off the bottom of the second inning, left fielder number 2, Colin Berg.
Colin Berg standing in now for the Astros to lead off this second inning. Berg is batting .800 to start this young Astros season. As he sends one out towards Isaiah White in left.
No.
Dylan Head coming over, and he's going to call for it, using those wheels to take a potential pop out away from Isaiah White. But Colin Berg pops out to Dylan Head in center field for the first out of this top of the second inning.
Third baseman number 21, Mike Gorey.
Mike Gorey, the third baseman, stepping in for the Astros. He takes strike one. This is Gorey's first action for the Astros. Brooks ahead in the count, 0-1. The wind and the pitch. Swing and a miss from Gorey. Brooks very quickly ahead in the count, 0-2. See if he busts out that slow curveball. There it is. And just barely outside for ball one. Brooks thought he had him. I thought he did too. But Brooks still ahead in the count, 1-2. On the left fielder, Colin Berg. The 1-2 pitch. Inside, ball two. Brooks comes set. The pitch. Swing and a miss from Mike Gorey. Mike Gorey goes down on strikes, and the Vikings have 2 outs in this top of the second inning.
Shortstop number 13, Giovanni Ortega.
Giovanni Ortega follows the first one back. The shortstop has not appeared in a game yet for the Astros. This is his first plate appearance. He's behind in the count, 0-1 to Brain Brooks, as he taps another one foul. Brooks looking to go 1-2-3, something that he almost did in the first inning, but then Nico Bilgi couldn't come up with the ground ball, extending the inning. Thankfully, no runners scored for the Astros. Brooks looking to close out this top of the second inning with another strikeout. The 0-2 pitch. Upstairs, ball one. Brooks still ahead in the count, 1-2. Still is a count that he is comfortable using that curveball. He left that one a bit upstairs. The 1-2 pitch. Fastball, swung on, hit into the right field corner. Ballard going over, settles under it, and makes the play. So a 1-2-3 top of the second inning has the Vikings coming to bat in the bottom of the second with the score tied, Astros 0, Vikings 0. Leading things off for the Vikings in the home half of the second inning is going to be the second baseman, Corey Mulling. Mulling stepped to the plate in the bottom of the first, but then Rob Tate was caught stealing third, and his at-bat ended prematurely. So he will get another chance to bat against Owen McGovern with no runners on as he takes ball one upstairs. Mulling went 2 for 3 with 2 doubles and 2 RBIs against Kankakee yesterday. He also scored twice on both of those doubles. So he grounds one into the hole between Ortega and Gorey and between short and third. And Corey Mulling stands on first with a leadoff single.
First baseman, number 31, Demir Heidelberg.
The sophomore, Demir Heidelberg, stands in for the Vikings. The first baseman went 0 for 3, but still found a way to get an RBI against Kankakee yesterday. That was the first game that he had been held hitless. So he takes ball one outside. Heidelberg is batting .500 on the year and currently is the team leader in Vikings RBIs with 12. He has also doubled twice and homered once, both tied for team leads, as he watches a curveball from McGovern dart off the plate for ball number 2. Heidelberg ahead in the count 2-0. Pickoff move from McGovern comes up empty. Mulling slides in there, no problem. Heidelberg is a good fastball hitter, as he was hunting fastball and got it, fouled it back, bringing the count to 2-1. Still a fastball count for Heidelberg, so if he can get his pitch, he's going to send it a very long way. That was not his pitch, as that ball was spiked about 58 feet, bringing the count to 3-1. Josh Moore, the DH, waits on deck, potentially hoping to bat with 2 runners on, as there is ball 4 to Demir Heidelberg, and Josh Moore will bat with 2 runners on.
Designated hitter number 6, Josh Moore.
Josh Moore is currently the Vikings leader in extra base hits. He has 2 doubles, 1 triple, and 1 home run. So 4 extra base hits, and he squares the bunt, pulls back. That ball gets away from the catcher, Keska, and both Vikings runners are going to move up 90 feet. So a pass ball has the Vikings threatening to score 2 here in this bottom of the second. Moore is one of only 2 Vikings hitters that have not struck out on the year. But knowing that, I've jinxed him now, as he takes strike 1. Not looking good for that jinx. But the count is even at 1-1. Moore looking to put a ball in play, plating Mulling from third. The 1-1 pitch. Moore grounds one down the first base line, just barely foul. The first baseman, Paul Cladis Dove, could not come up with it, but it was all for naught as the home plate umpire called it just barely foul. From up here, it looked like the ball went just over the base and landed in foul territory, but Moore is behind in the count 1-2. So he's trying to put a ball in play. The 1-2 pitch. Grounds towards the shortstop, Ortega. That's going to score a run for the Vikings. And Moore is going to be safe at first. A wide throw from Giovanni Ortega gets Josh Moore safely to first base. So the Vikings score 1 and have runners on the corners and still nobody out. The third baseman, Nico Bilgi, standing in now for the Vikings.
Third baseman, number 8, Nico Bilgi.
Bilgi did not play against Kankakee yesterday. He was traveling. As Moore takes off towards towards second. He's going to be in there, and the ball gets away from everybody. Demir Heidelberg is going to score standing up, and the Vikings add another one. 2-0 over the Astros here in this bottom of the second inning. Josh Moore took off towards second, and the Astros tried to run a little cut play where they could potentially catch Demir Heidelberg lacking at third base. But that did not work as Nico Bilgi sends one off the first baseman Cladis, and he's going to be thrown out at first base. It went off Paul Cladis' glove, but luckily the second baseman Josh Case was there to recover and flip to Cladis for out number 1.
Left fielder, number 13, Isaiah White.
But Josh Moore did move up 90 feet to third base, as that sends Isaiah White to the dish. You may remember Isaiah White was the Vikings' leadoff hitter for all of their other games, but with the return of Dylan Head, Coach McCarthy bumped him down to 9, almost working as a second leadoff hitter. But Isaiah White took a curveball there for strike 1. Moore is on third. White trying to score him. A good pick there from the catcher Keska. Keeps Moore at third. But the count is even now, 1-1. Isaiah White is currently the Vikings hit-by-pitch leader with 3. It's an interesting stat as he lays off ball 2 in the dirt. Isaiah White trying to turn things over to the center fielder Dylan Head, who waits on deck. And the 2-1 pitch. Line straight at the third baseman Gorey. And Josh Moore is going to be called safe at third. There seems to be a little bit of confusion as everybody's sort of standing around looking at each other. The base umpire called him safe. He's out on the line out, but then the base umpire called him safe, as apparently the third baseman Gorey missed the base, is what I'm going to guess happened. But regardless, the lineup card turns over and leadoff man Dylan Head stands in for the Vikings.
Center fielder, number 1, Dylan Head.
Head grounded out to second base on the very first pitch that he saw. He's trying to put one into the outfield, scoring more from third base. The pitch to Head. In the dirt, ball 1. Going to see a lot of breaking balls as he can hit a fastball a very long way. He can also hit a curveball a very long way. So it's important that you be very selective with your pitches. As ball 2 is upstairs. Would not be surprised if he walked here. But then you got Rob Tate, who singled the center, waiting on deck. And he can do just as much damage as Head can. Head ahead in the count 2-0 as he pops one towards center field. Center fielder McGaney under it, and he's going to retire Head for the third out of the second inning. So Head flies to center and it goes F8 in the books, but the Vikings score 2, and at the end of the second inning, it's the Vikings 2 and the Astros 0. Leading things off for the Astros here in this top of the third inning is going to be the center fielder, Mike Meneghini.
Center fielder number 11, Mike Meneghini.
Meneghini is trying to hand things over to the top of the lineup, and Josh Case with a runner on base. That's a little bit of a rhyme for you. But Brian Brooks trying to prevent that. He went 1-2-3 in the top of the second, trying to repeat that as a wild swing and a miss from Meneghini, has Brooks ahead 0-1. Brooks comes set, the 0-1 pitch. Just barely outside. Evens the count at 1. Meneghini is batting .500 through these Astros' first 2 games. As he lines one down the first base line into the right field corner, fair. Meneghini is going to be waved towards second base, and he's going to be in there with a leadoff double for the Astros. So a fastball that he just yanked by Demir Heidelberg at first base into the right field corner has the Astros a runner in scoring position to start this top of the third inning.
Second baseman number 3, Josh Case.
The leadoff man, Josh Case, steps in. He popped out to the right fielder, Jason Ballard, his first time up. Brooks trying to do more of the same. Case calls time.
I'm about to send that email. I forgot, so I'm doing it now.
Astros threatening to score. Cut this Vikings lead in half. Brooks comes set.
All right, I'm gonna
Meneghini dancing around. Case squares the bunt, pops it up, foul. So Case was looking to advance Meneghini to third, but he could not get the bunt down as he pops it foul.
Take a picture. I'm in the press box right now in baseball. No.
So Brooks ahead in the count 0-1. Meneghini dancing off second again. Brooks pays him no mind and gets Case to swing and miss. That looked to be a changeup of some sort, as Brooks is very quickly up in the count 0-2. Brooks looking to punch out Case. Swing and a miss from Case. Brooks gets his second strikeout of the game, and that's a big one. He strikes out Josh Case for the first out of this top of the third inning. Ethan Byrne hit a one-hop rocket right back to Brian Brooks his first time up. Brooks stuck his glove out, had no trouble corralling it. But it was a very hard hit ball. Pickoff attempt. Back in there safely is Meneghini, and Meneghini thought about going, but then realized who was out there as Dylan Head was coming in, and he has the arm to throw you out from anywhere in this field. So Brooks has not thrown a pitch to Byrne yet. The pitch inside, says the home plate umpire. Looked good from up here. Byrne is the Astros leader in runs scored with 5. The 1-0 pitch. Fastball upstairs, ball 2. Meneghini is jumping around over there on second base, trying to get in Brooks' head. But Brooks has done a good job of paying Meneghini no mind, focusing on the batter. As a pickoff attempt right as I say that, but Meneghini slides back in there safely. Good play by Corey Mulling, the second baseman, to corral that throw. Had to slide to his knees.
13 more cages in that field house.
Brooks comes set. 2-0 pitch. Swing and a foul ball from Ethan Byrne. Byrne trying to plate Menegini from second base, cutting this Vikings lead from 2-1. Brooks trying to prevent that. He's been relatively clean so far. That double for Menegini was the first hit he's given up. As there's strike 2. Byrne didn't like it. But it's not his zone to call. So the count is even now, 2-2. Brooks comes set. The pitch to Byrne. Swing and a miss from Byrne. Byrne can't argue that one as he came up empty on a swing and a miss on that slow looping curveball from Brooks. So 2 straight Ks of the top 2 Astros hitters
Number 6, ball.
have the Astros threatening to strand Menegini at second base after a leadoff double. This would be big for Brooks as once he has that in his mind that he can strand those runners, he can do anything that he puts his mind to as on the mound. As he hits Paul Cladis on the very first pitch of the at-bat. It's not the worst thing in the world. He had a base open. Didn't even get a chance to say that Cladis reached on an error by Nico Bilgi in his first at-bat.
Catcher,
He was also
20,
stranded.
Brandon Keska.
The catcher, Brandon Keska, stands in for the Astros now. Keska singled to center field his first time up as he swings and misses through a fastball from Brooks. Brooks trying to get his 4th strikeout of the game as he's retired Case, Byrne, and Gorey all on strikes. The 0-1 pitch. Swing and a miss from Keska. That back foot curveball from Brooks was effective right there. As Keska tried to send one over the fence out there in left field. The wind not as generous as it has been in days past. It's sort of blowing left to right. As a swing and a miss from Keska. Brian Brooks strands 2 and gets 3 punch-outs in the top of the 3rd inning. So the Astros cannot score from a leadoff double by the center fielder Menegini. And at the end of the top of the 3rd, it's the Vikings 2 and the Astros nothing. Leading things off for the Vikings here in the home half of the third
Leading
inning
off,
is going to be the
number
shortstop,
2,
Rob Tate.
Shortstop, Robert Tate.
Rob Tate singled to center field his first time up. Was picked off trying to steal third by Owen McGovern, as he takes strike one for McGovern. Rob Tate homered in the Vikings' second game of the season and is homerless since, but he definitely has the power to do it again, as ball one was up around his neck. Tate trying to get a leadoff man on for the Vikings as he swings through a fastball from McGovern, 1-2. So Tate behind in the count, 1-2 to McGovern. Fouls one down the third base line, almost into the Astro dugout. Tate staying alive. Tate is very good at that defensive two-strike swing, keeping him alive by any means. As he sends one into the right center field gap. And that ball is going to fall. The right fielder Byrne didn't see it, and Tate's going to try for a triple, and he is going to be in there. A leadoff triple for Rob Tate has the Vikings with a runner in scoring position and nobody out in this bottom of the third inning. The sun and the wind ate up Ethan Byrne out there in right field, so the elements are not the Astros' friend here in this one.
Right fielder, number 5, Jason Ballard.
Jason Ballard hit an infield single to the shortstop Giovanni Ortega his first time to the dish. Another one of those would be good for the Vikings as he fouls one straight back. That sun in right field is definitely an issue for both teams, but now as I say that, it clouds over and now is not an issue. As Ballard takes ball one just low and outside. Vikings looking to add to that 2-0 lead. Rob Tate is standing on third, 90 feet away for Ballard. As Ballard takes ball two upstairs. Ballard is the Vikings' leader in walks with 6 through 6 games, so he's averaging a walk per game. And he's about to add another one as he's ahead in the count, 3-1. So the 3-1 pitch to Ballard is in the dirt, and Rob Tate's going to try and score, and he is going to be safe at home. So a walk from Jason Ballard turns into a run for the Vikings as that ball got past the catcher Keska. Vikings lead is now 3 with catcher Preston Lund stepping to the dish.
Preston Lund.
Lund struck out his first time up, looking to not do that his second time up. As he checks a swing on a curveball, and Ballard is going to take second base. Keska knocked it down, but he could not keep it in front of him as Ballard moves up 90 feet, and the Vikings yet again have another runner in scoring position. Lund ahead in the count, 1-0. Takes strike one on the outside corner. Lund can go opposite field and still maintain that power. He's got 2 doubles to the opposite field. As he swings and misses at a fastball around the letters. Behind in the count now, 1-2. So McGovern threatening to strike out Lund for a second time today. As Lund grounds one towards Ortega. Ortega up with it, fires to first, retires Lund, but Ballard moves up 90 feet. And a pass ball can score him now, as Ballard has wheels. Corey Mulling is going to be the batter for the Vikings. He singled to left field his first time up.
Second baseman number 9, Corey Mulling.
Mulling came around to score after that single. So he sends one into the right center field gap. And that ball's going to get down. So Corey Mulling is going to be standing on second base with a 1-out double for the Vikings. Jason Ballard scores, and the lead is now 4 for the Vikings. An opposite field double for Corey Mulling has him halfway to the cycle.
First baseman number 31, Demir Heidelberg.
Demir Heidelberg stepping in for the Vikings. Heidelberg walked his first time to the plate. So he sends one into left field, right at the left fielder Colin Berg. That ball was roped, but Colin Berg barely had to move. So that's going to be the second out of the inning. A hard hit ball turns into an out for the Vikings.
Designated hitter number 6, Josh Moore.
Josh Moore trying to plate Corey Mulling from second base. Moore reached on an error by the shortstop Ortega his first time up. It could have been scored as a single due to Moore's speed, but the throw from Ortega pulled the first baseman Cladis off the base as Moore takes ball 1. Moore is, again, one of only 2 Vikings hitters without a strikeout on the year. As he takes ball 2 in the dirt, good block by Keska. Moore ahead in the count 2-0. Any ball into the outfield is going to plate Mulling. McGovern shakes and then agrees with Keska. Steps off. Mulling didn't even have the best lead, and they're going to talk things over. Perhaps Mulling has the signs. And McGovern is worried about that. I would be more worried about not allowing hits. Rob Tate tripled with nobody on, so not much you can do about that for stealing signs. But McGovern is behind in the count 2-0. Still behind in the count now, but the count is 2-1 now. Moore has wheels, so any ball in the gap is definitely extra bases. Potentially could be 3 bases. He does have not only Vikings triple of the year, as Rob Tate tripled to lead off this frame. He did have the only Vikings triple before that. But now he has to share that place with Rob Tate as he takes ball 3 downstairs. Third baseman Nico Bilgi waits on deck. Bilgi hit a hard hit ground ball to the first baseman Cladis his first time up. But the 3-1 to Moore is upstairs for ball 4. So a 2-out walk for Josh Moore sends Nico Bilgi to the dish with 2 runners on and 2 outs.
Third baseman number 8, Nico Bilgi.
Bilgi, as I said, hit that one-hop rocket to first base his first time up as he takes ball 1 inside. It bounced off Cladis' glove, but then the second baseman Josh Case was there to pick it up and flip it back to Cladis. The 1-0 pitch to Bilgi is swung on and hit a mile foul. That ball was absolutely smoked, but Bilgi was way out in front of it. The whole right side of the field for the Astros was sort of shading their eyes and looking for where the ball went. They didn't even know if it was coming right at them. As Bilgi fouls the 1-1 towards the Astros dugout. That sun is definitely playing a factor now. Shining brightly into the right side of the field's eyes. Bilgi behind in the count 1-2. Looking to plate Mulling from second base. As he sends one down the left field line, a mile in the air. And that is going to be out of play. No, in play, excuse me. But Mike Gorey could not see it or come up with it. It landed within reaching distance for Gorey, but he did not stick his glove out to catch it. Perhaps he thought he was out of room or that the ball was going to be out of play. But either way, it's a foul ball for Nico Bilgi. So the count is still 1-2. The pitch from McGovern. In the dirt, ball 2, good pick by Keska to stop Mulling and Moore from moving up one base. Count is even now, 2-2. Bilgi swings through a curveball tipped right into the mid of Keska. But the Vikings add to their lead. They score 2 in this bottom of the third inning. And at the end of the third inning, it's the Vikings 4 and the Astros nothing. Leading things off in the Astros half of the fourth inning, it's going to be the starting pitcher, Owen McGovern. McGovern popped out to right fielder Jason Ballard's first time up. As he takes ball 1 low and inside from Brian Brooks. Brooks out there for his fourth inning of work. This is his longest appearance for the Vikings. If he can get 2 outs, that is. As ball 2 is just inside. His longest inning was his last against Oswego East. He went three innings and got 1 out in the top of the fourth inning, excuse me. As strike 1 is at the knees for McGovern. Brooks still behind in the count, 2-1. The pitch. Upstairs, ball 3. Brooks has been good at working around runners on base, but you never want to give the opposing team a free base. As the 3-1 pitch from Brooks is swung on, hit out towards Mulling at second base, and that ball is going to fall just barely over his head. A little jam shot single for Owen McGovern has the Astros leadoff man on here in the top of the fourth inning.
Left fielder, number 2, Colin Berg.
Left fielder Colin Berg stepping in for the Astros. Berg popped up to center fielder Dylan Head his first time up. A ground ball here would be big for the Vikings, as the man who waits on deck, Mike Gorey, struck out his first time against Brooks. As he squares the bunt, that ball's going to be behind Berg, as McGovern is going to move up 90 feet to second base. So perhaps Brooks got a little spooked, didn't get the best grip on that curveball, but either way, it's ball one, and McGovern is on second base now as opposed to first. I do wonder if Berg is going to still be tasked with laying a bunt down, as he can still get one down and advance McGovern to third. He does not, and watches strike one. Evens the count at 1-1. Brooks was in this exact same situation last inning and worked out of it with 3 strikeouts. And there's a good start, as strike 2 to Berg was foul tipped straight back into Preston Lund's mitt. So Brooks goes from behind in the count 1-0 to ahead in the count 1-2. And that looping curveball upstairs, ball 2. So the count is even now, 2-2. On number 2, Colin Berg. Curveball. Berg bailed out of the way as that ball was inside. That's going to bring the count to a full 3-2. Brooks does have a base open if he wants to give it, but he also has 2 strikes on Berg, so a strikeout is definitely better than a walk in this situation. As a fastball gets Berg looking, Berg tosses his bat, and he's going to follow it. So a strikeout looking of Colin Berg is the Vikings' first out of this top of the 4th inning.
Third baseman, number 21, Mike Gorey.
Mike Gorey struck out his first time up. Brooks looking to do more of that in this top of the 4th. As a fastball is off home plate, foul. Just hit off of that lip between home plate and this brand new turf. I will say, once this outfield grass comes in more, this field is going to look a lot better. It won't be so discolored out there in the outfield. A lot less muddy too, as you see Dylan Head's knee is all brown from slipping. As a swing and a miss from Gorey has him very quickly behind in the count 0-2. So Gorey trying not to be strikeout victim number 5. Excuse me, no, for strikeout victim number 6 of Brooks. He's going to have some work to do, as he's behind in the count 0-2, and he sends one towards Demir Heidelberg. Should be easy play for him, and it is. So a soft little tapper to Heidelberg at first base is the Vikings' second out of this top of the 4th inning. But Owen McGovern is going to stand at third base with 2 outs now. Giovanni Ortega, the shortstop, is going to be the batter for the Astros. He popped up to right field, as 3 of his Astros teammates did before him, as he takes ball 1 high. Lots of work out there in right field for Jason Ballard. I'm sure he doesn't mind that. You never want to just stand out there in the outfield. It gets cold out there, especially on a day like this. Ball 2 is upstairs. It's not too cold today, around 50 degrees, but that wind is definitely making it feel colder than it is. But the 2-0 pitch from Brooks is in there for strike 1. Brooks trying to get out of this 4th inning with no runs after a leadoff single, as ball 3 is up and out. Brooks in a hole, 3-1. trying to dig out of it. One ground ball to Rob Tate away from getting out of this fourth inning. As strike 2 is in there. He could just strike out Ortega. I'm sure he wants to do that. Already has 5 strikeouts on the day, looking for his 6th right here. The full count pitch to Giovanni Ortega. Inside, barely. Ball 4 sends Ortega to first base with 2 outs.
Center fielder number 11, Mike McGeaney.
Mike Menegini stepping in for the Astros. He yanked a line drive past the first baseman Heidelberg to open the top of the 3rd inning, but he was stranded out there at second base. Brooks picks off. Ortega back in there safely. Ortega is on first. McGovern, the pitcher, is on third. Astros trying to break up this shutout from Brooks. The pitch to Menegini is a curveball in there for strike 1. That thing just hung up there forever and then just floated its way down into the zone. But it's going to be strike 1. Brooks ahead in the count 0-1. Pickoff move. Safe, says the base umpire. Still 0-1 on Menegini. The pitch. In there for strike 2. A fastball on the outer third. Nets Brooks his 2nd strike. So it's 0-2 on the 9-hitter Menegini. I'm sure Brooks would like some revenge after that double to start the 3rd. And he does. He punches out Menegini looking. So he works around a leadoff base runner for the 2nd inning in a row. And Brayan Brooks is through 4 scoreless at the end of the top of the 4th inning. It's the Vikings 4 and the Astros nothing. Leading things off for the Vikings here in the home half of the 4th.
Left fielder, number 13, Isaiah White.
As you probably heard, it's the left fielder, Isaiah White. White hit a line drive straight at the 3rd baseman, Mike Gorey, in the 2nd inning. White has been a serviceable leadoff man in replacement of Dylan Head, but Coach McCarthy bumped him down to 9 in Dylan Head's return today. Almost have 2 leadoff hitters for the Vikings as White takes ball 1 upstairs. Isaiah White can get on base like anybody in this Vikings lineup can, but he can do it at a very advanced pace, ahead of Dylan Head. He can knock him in as White takes ball 2 downstairs. Because then if Isaiah White gets on, then you're sort of forced to pitch to Dylan Head, as then you're threatening to go down 2 batters on to go into the Vikings' heart of the order with 2 batters on base, as ball 3 was upstairs to Isaiah White. So he's got a 3-0 count. Strike 1 was in there. But long story short, Isaiah White and Dylan Head are a very formidable 9-1 duo for the Vikings. White's still ahead in the count, 3-1. He grounds one towards Gorey again. Gorey cannot come up with it. It goes straight under his mitt, and that's going to be a single for Isaiah White, as Gorey never even touched it, so it can't be an error on him.
Center fielder number 1, Dylan Head.
The center fielder, Dylan Head, stepping in for the Vikings. So he has the power to send one over that monster. So he sends one into center field again, and that is going to get off the base of the wall. Meneghini could not come up with it, and that is going to be a double for Dylan Head. Isaiah White is held up at third, and the Vikings have 2 runners in scoring position and nobody out here in this bottom of the 4th inning.
Shortstop number 2, Robert Tate.
Rob Tate has a single and a triple on the day, so he, like Corey Mulling, is halfway to the cycle. Mulling has a single and a double. Tate has a single and a triple. Now would be a good time for the double, as a double would surely score 2. Even a single would score 2, as Head has some of the fastest legs in the state. Probably even in the country too, as ball 1 was inside. So any ball into the outfield is definitely going to score White from third. Went all around the bases and came up empty, but the curveball from new pitcher Josh Case is in there for strike number 1. Josh Case started this inning, forgot to mention that. He was the second baseman, but Matt McClin is taking his place as Tate swings through a fastball. Tate is a master of keeping himself alive, sticking the bat out, fighting for another chance, fouling off any pitches that he thinks are too close to take. As you can see right there, just sort of stuck his bat out and let the ball hit it. It might look awkward, but Rob Tate has some of the best bat-to-ball skills on this Vikings team. He's trying to demonstrate those right here by putting a ball into the outfield on a 1-2 count. No, it'll be on a 2-2 count. Trying to demonstrate my psychic ability here, folks. Rob Tate's letting me down. The count is even now, 2-2. Tate takes ball 3 in the dirt. So one more ball, and Jason Ballard, the man on deck, is going to have the bases loaded and nobody out. So Rob Tate has a full count on him after battling back from 1-2. The pitch. Outside, ball 4. A great at-bat by the shortstop sends the center fielder Jason Ballard to the dish with the bases juiced and nobody out.
Right fielder number 5, Jason Ballard.
Keska going out to Case to talk things over. Ballard singled his first time up and then was walked, extending his team leading 7 walks. It was 6 entering the game. Now it's 7. A walk here wouldn't be the worst thing, as a run will score, but I'm sure Ballard wants to score more than just 1. Coach McCarthy probably just told him to stay simple, put a ball in play, let the defense make plays for themselves, don't give them anything. But the pitch to Ballard is low for ball one. Ballard threatening to blow this game wide open. Vikings already have a 4-run lead here in this bottom of the fourth inning. One swing, and that could be 8. As ball 2 is just up and in. And this is not the center fielder. This is the right fielder, Jason Ballard, as that ball is outside and Keska cannot handle it. I'm so used to saying center fielder Jason Ballard that he's not the center fielder. The center fielder is Dylan Head, who's on second base. Ballard is in right. But the right fielder, Jason Ballard, is ahead in the count 3-0. One more ball, and the Vikings will extend their lead to 5. Case comes set. That's in there for strike 1. Ballard wanted to pull the trigger on that, but he likely had the take sign on for McCarthy over there at third base. But now he's going to be able to swing away on a 3-1 count. The pitch from Case. Outside, ball 4. The Vikings add another one, and the lead is now 5 in this bottom of the fourth inning. A run-scoring walk from Jason Ballard plates Isaiah White. And now Preston Lund is going to come to the dish with the bases still loaded. As there's going to be a mound meeting, perhaps discussing what they want to do with Lund, or just telling Case to calm down, throw strikes. But whatever the case may be, we're going to step out. We'll be right back with more Vikings baseball. Now pitching for the Astros is going to be number 18, Brendan Grieshaber.
Catcher number 10, Preston Lund.
Preston Lund stepping in with the bases still loaded and nobody out, threatening to add to that 5-run lead. He could make it 9 with one swing of the bat. And he tried to right there. That was a very, very hefty swing from Lund. Comes up empty, 0-1. 0-1 pitch from Grishaber. Lund sends one out into left field. Left fielder going back on it is Berg. Berg makes the catch. Everybody's going to move up. No, excuse me. Only Dylan Head is going to move up 90 feet, and he will score. So a sac fly from Preston Lund adds yet another run to the Vikings' lead. It is now 6-0 Vikings.
Second baseman, number 9, Corey Mulling.
Corey Mulling stepping in now. He is halfway to the cycle. He is singled and doubled on the day. A homer or a triple here would extend the Vikings' lead to 8 or 9. He sends one into left field. A ground ball single from Corey Mulling is going to plate Rob Tate from second base, and Mulling advances to second base on the throw. So the runners move up 2 bases, and the Vikings' lead is now 7.
First baseman, number 31, Demir Heidelberg.
Demir Heidelberg, the first baseman, stepping in for the Vikings. The sophomore is 0 for 1 on the day. He's walked and hit a very hard hit ball right at the left fielder, Colin Berg. He's looking to extend the Vikings' lead to 9 or potentially 10. As he sends one into center field, Meneghini coming in on it, and that ball's going to fall. So Demir Heidelberg's first hit of the game plates Jason Ballard from third base and moves Corey Mulling over to third base. The Vikings' lead has been extended to 8 runs here in this bottom of the 4th inning.
Designated hitter number 6, Josh Moore.
Josh Moore stepping in for the Vikings. Moore has reached on an error by the shortstop Ortega and walked. Mulling still standing 90 feet away. Heidelberg standing on first base. Catcher Keska just going over signs in case Heidelberg does decide to use those long legs to try and swipe second. He hasn't so far, but I wouldn't put it past him. The pitch to Moore. Swung on, popped up in foul territory. Keska is under it, and he cannot make the play. It falls in foul territory as Josh Moore is granted another life. Moore can make the Astros regret that. With one swing of the bat, he can extend the Vikings' lead to double digits. The 0-1 pitch to Moore. Low. And Heidelberg takes off for second, and he's going to be in there standing up. So it wasn't a straight steal, but Demir Heidelberg did put those long legs to use. Swiping second base. Count is even now, 1-1 on the DH Josh Moore. Grishaber comes set. And Moore sends one into left field. It splits the gap between Gorey and Ortega, and Heidelberg is going to be waved around third, and he is going to score. Josh Moore motoring towards second, and he's going to be in there with a double. Josh Moore extends the Vikings' lead to double digits. It is 10-0 now in the bottom of the 4th inning.
Third baseman, number 8, Nico Bilgi.
Nico Bilgi standing in for the Vikings. Bilgi is only one of 2 batters without a hit today. Him and the catcher Preston Lund are the only 2. Bilgi looking to change that as he takes ball 1 upstairs. Bilgi struck out in his second at bat, grounded hard to first base his first at bat. Trying to break that spell right here. The 1-0 pitch is inside for ball 2. Bilgie ahead in the count 2-0. Josh Moore, the speedy DH on second base. 3-0 to Bilgie. Isaiah White, the man who started off this bottom of the fourth inning with a single to left field, waits on deck. So the Vikings have officially batted around. The 3-0 pitch to Nico Bilgie is low for ball 4. So the man who started this fourth inning will come up again in the fourth inning. Left fielder Isaiah White has lined to the third baseman Gorey and singled to left field in his 2 at-bats.
Left fielder, number 13, Isaiah White!
White came around to score, as all Vikings who have reached base have scored in this inning. As Isaiah White takes ball 1 inside, Keska going over to talk things over with Grieshaber. 5 straight balls from Grieshaber is a bit concerning for the Astros. A quick chat, but perhaps their plan of attack for Isaiah White has been finalized. The 1-0 pitch to White. Upstairs for ball 2. So that makes the ball streak at 6 for Grieshaber. Isaiah White looking to put an end to it with a strike on a ball in play. The 2-0 pitch from Grieshaber. Swung on, fouled down the third base line. So the streak has ended, but it was on a foul ball. If everything holds as it looks like it's going to for the Vikings, they're going to move to 6-1 on the year. But we're worried about this game right now, as the count is 2-1 on Isaiah White, 3-1 as that breaking ball was low. Isaiah White looking to potentially load the bases for Bennett Reich, who has taken the place of Dylan Head in the leadoff spot, and he does. So a 1-out walk for Isaiah White has loaded the bases yet again for the Vikings in this bottom of the fourth inning, and Bennett Reich is now going to bat for Dylan Head. Reich has pinch hit before, but he has not gotten a start in this Viking season. Looking to capitalize on that pinch hit opportunity. Reich can do some damage here as he takes ball 1 upstairs. Jacob Gunn waits on deck in place of Rob Tate, so Coach McCarthy emptying the bench here as Reich takes strike 1. Count is even now, 1-1 on the pinch hit center fielder Bennett Reich. Low, ball 2. The Vikings' next game, the Saturday of this week at 11 a.m. home against Marist, as Reich sends one into left field. An opposite field single for Bennett Reich is going to plate 2 runners for the Vikings, and the lead has been extended to 12. A 2 RBI single from Bennett Reich has the Vikings still with runners on base and only
Number
1 out.
12, Jacob Gunn.
Jacob Gunn stepping in for the Vikings, pinch hitting for Rob Tate. Again, CJ Gales on deck. McCarthy emptying his bench as ball 1 to Gunn is inside. Gunn trying to plate Isaiah White from second base as that ball is hit down the left field line a mile, but foul. Evening the count at 1-1. Gunn was just barely out ahead of that, as if he puts that ball in left or left center field, that ball is probably gone. But the count is even, 1-1 to Jacob Gunn. He sends one into the left center field gap. Meneghini over on it, and he makes the catch. Isaiah White is going to tag and go towards third. He's going to be in there safely. Bennett Reich is going to stay where he's at first base, but now the Vikings have runners on the corners and 2 outs for C.J. Gales, the pinch hit right fielder.
Number 27, Christopher Gales.
Gales has been mainly a pinch runner for the Vikings, a courtesy runner for the catcher, Preston Lund. He's stolen many bases and scored many runs for the Vikings using his speed as he takes ball 1 outside. Gales looking to extend this Vikings lead. He grounds one towards that short and third hole, and that's going to be an infield single. So Ortega dove to knock it down, but the Vikings add another. It's 13-0 here in this bottom of the 4th inning. So that's going to bring Nate Locker, the pinch hit catcher, up to the dish.
Number 14, Nate Locker.
This is Locker's first appearance for the Vikings. He's going to have an at-bat with Bennett Reich on second base and C.J. Gales on first base, both of whom have speed, as Locker takes ball 1 outside. Locker has the power to put one over the fence, as most players do, but Locker has plus power as he takes ball 2 low and in. Luke Griggs is going to wait on deck, pinch hitting for the second baseman Corey Malling. That's going to likely shift Isaiah White from left to second base as Locker takes ball 3. Griggs is not usually a second baseman, so that's why Isaiah White is probably going to shift from left to second, as White does play second. But the 3-0 pitch to Locker is inside, and that gets a piece of him. So Nate Locker takes a hit by pitch on a 3-0 count, and that loads the bases yet again for the Vikings, for Luke Griggs.
Number 0, Luke Griggs.
Griggs hasn't gotten many at-bats for the Vikings. I believe this is only his 3rd of the season. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a PO running appearance. David Anderson, the pitcher, is going to pinch run for the catcher, Nate Locker, on first base. That's always fun to see when a pitcher gets in the game for something other than pitching. As Griggs takes ball 1 low. Anderson threw yesterday against Kankakee. He got the win. Only allowed 1 hit. 2 runs, however, in the Vikings' 12-2 win. As Griggs takes ball 2 inside. Vikings have put up a 9 spot here in the bottom of the 4th inning, threatening to add much more than that. But the 2-0 pitch to Griggs is swung on right at Ortega, and that's going to do it for this bottom of the 4th inning. So the Vikings have sent they sent 14 batters to the plate in the bottom of the fourth inning, and they plate 9 of them. So at the end of the fourth inning, it's the Vikings 13 and the Astros nothing. Now pitching for the Vikings in this top half of the fifth inning is the right-hander Tommy Haggerty. Haggerty is primarily a starter, but after some surgery and injuries derailed him, he's going to be pitching out of the bullpen for a little bit, getting his stamina back up as he fires a fastball by Josh Case, the leadoff man. Haggerty throws gas, to put it simply. He's ahead in the count 0-1. Ball 1 is outside. He is tasked with protecting a 13-run lead, something that if he can't do, I would be pretty worried about him. But I trust him. Count is 1-1 to Case. Case watches strike 2. You can probably see the speed differential from Brooks to Haggerty. And that's no knock on Brooks. Haggerty just throws that hard. He's ahead in the count 1-2 on Case. Grounded towards Elijah Rainey at first base. And he'll take it himself for the first out of this top of the fifth inning. Lots of defensive replacements for the Vikings. You got Caden Wesley at third base. Jacob Gunn at short. Nico Bilgi slides over to second base, and Elijah Rainey is at first. Nate Locker's behind the dish. Luke Griggs is in left. Bennett Reich is in center. And C.J. Gales is in right. The pitch from Haggerty to Ethan Byrne. Outside, ball 1. The right fielder is 0 for 2 on the day. He grounded back to the starting pitcher, Brayan Brooks, and struck out. The 1-0 from Haggerty. In there for strike number 1. Evens things up at 1-1. This was likely a scheduled outing for Haggerty, as working back into a starter role for him is going to take some time. You can't just throw him right back into throwing 80 pitches a game. You have to work your way back up. But the 1-1 from Haggerty is up and out for ball 2. Haggerty's probably going to be one of the Vikings' one of the heads of the Vikings three-headed monster of the rotation between him, David Anderson, and Vince Waterman, as there's strike two looking. Ethan Byrne has a 2-2 count on him. But that top three of the Vikings rotation, Haggerty, Waterman, and Anderson, all three of those seniors are very formidable opponents for any opposing batters. As there is strike three. Byrne did not like that call, but the slider caught the plate from Haggerty as he gets the second out of the fifth inning via strikeout.
First baseman number 6, Paul Cletus.
Paul Cletus, the first baseman, stepping in for the Astros, trying to extend this game. The Vikings only need one more out to end this game on a run rule, as they're up 10 runs, and after this inning will be after 5, as ball one was up around Cletus's head. Haggerty working from the stretch. The 1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss from Cletus behind the fastball. Haggerty does that little rock back, but then once runners get on base, he'll remove that and just go directly into the knee kick. So he can just be consistent, eliminating one little motion from his windup as opposed to the stretch. As the fastball is grounded over Haggerty's head, Bilgi coming in on it, throws to Elijah Rainey at first base, and that will do it for the Vikings. They beat the Shepard Astros 13-0. A good bounce back win, two bounce back wins for the Vikings, one over Shepard and one over Kankakee yesterday. After that loss at the hands of Lincoln Way Central, the Vikings are now 6-1 on the year. They will play Marist at home on Saturday, April 1st at 11 a.m. We will be broadcasting this game at that game and all other games throughout the year. So if you want to stay up to date with the latest Viking baseball, you can subscribe to this channel. You can follow our Twitter, HFHS_baseball, or you can follow our Instagram. The name is right there on the infographic, but if you can't read it, it is HF Viking Baseball on Instagram. We post pretty much anything, mainly game day pictures, lineup cards, final score graphics. But the Vikings moved to 6-1 with a 13-0 win over the Shepard Astros. For everybody here at HF Viking Baseball, I'm Dylan Barnes. Good night, everybody.